grow your YouTube channel in 2025, the number one thing that's going to help you stand out is having good thumbnails. So if you want to learn more about this, then keep on watching this video. What's up, my name is Matilda and welcome back to the Picsart channel. I started this series on this channel here where I'm going to be breaking down everything that you need to know to grow your YouTube channel in 2025, and today we're going to be talking about thumbnails. Now thumbnails, much like everything with YouTube, is something that's constantly changing, so it's really important that you keep up to date with consuming content as well as creating it. Let's start with talking about colors. Now colors is something that's really going to help your thumbnails stand out, and I'm not talking about creating thumbnails that look like they were made in 2015. But selecting your colors and having a smart use of colors within your thumbnail is not only going to help with strong branding throughout your channel, but it's also going to help your thumbnails not look dull, therefore stand out when people are scrolling through their explore page. Take this for example. Here on Picsart, we have a color theme of these two colors when it comes to our thumbnails. So our thumbnails kind of look like this. And this is a great example of how a color scheme and branding is going to be really helpful when creating a brand and making other people recognize you. So if you're scrolling through your subscriptions and you see a thumbnail like the ones that I showed you, audience is automatically going to think, oh, Picsart posted a new video, and you won't have to look at the channel name or the profile picture to know who posted it. Very similar thing goes with fonts. I talked a little bit about this in our last video, but you don't have to have the exact same fonts in every single one of your thumbnails, but it's good to have some sort of cohesion and combination of fonts that you like to use. Also, having said that, fonts are a great way to showcase color in your thumbnails. Right now I'm filming in a very white background. My shirt is white, which maybe is not the best combination. In this case, if I was to take a thumbnail right now and write my title, putting a color on the title is going to be a great way to add a pop of color. So these two kind of go hand in hand, and it's great to experiment when you're starting your channel or when you're revamping your channel about what you want your thumbnails to look like. Also, a quick editing tip, and this depends on how you film it, but for example, my camera that I'm filming on has depth perception. So if there was a lot of things in my background, it would be slightly out of focus and I would stand out. But if your camera doesn't have that, you can always use a quick blurring tool. If you go over on Picsart, on web or on app, you can see that we have a bunch of different blurring options. You can do motion blur. You can even do an effect where you're in focus or your subject is in focus and everything else is blurry, so you won't have to worry about erasing things and layering things. And this is just because your thumbnails are so small that if it's super crowded, your audience is kind of going to be overwhelmed by your thumbnail. Another thing that we need to talk about, and I talk about this in every single one of these videos at this point, so it's no surprise, it's research. It's super important to understand what other creators are doing within your niche. Like for example, a lot of creators that make content similar to like Mr. Beast create thumbnails that look like this. And this is mostly because these videos are targeted at a younger audience, and so things like shocked faces and crazy things happening in the background, bold colors is really going to stand out amongst other thumbnails for their preferred audience. Whereas if you're someone that makes more like aesthetic little vlogging content, thumbnails like these, for example, are going to much more convey what your niche and what your aesthetic is to people who are also searching for that type of video. This is super important if you're creating some sort of generic content, like for example, tutorials. If, for example, you're creating an editing tutorial to showcase to your audience how you edit your YouTube videos, if you're more of a technical channel, a thumbnail like this, for example, might be a better fit for you because other people looking for more technical and high quality editing are more likely to be drawn to your thumbnail. Whereas if you're focusing more on aesthetic editing, a thumbnail like this, for example, is going to target your target audience a little bit better. I'm going to stop rambling for a little bit and do a quick lightning round of tips that you need when creating a thumbnail. Play into the curiosity of the viewer, capturing the most interesting part of your video, having little text being like, I can't believe this happened. Things like this is really going to make people go, oh, that's interesting, let me click on it. Don't use clickbait. I think we're very much past the time of clickbait, and YouTube really values watch time. So if you're going to do a clickbait video and people are going to click on it for whatever you baited out to be what your video is about, and you don't show these things, or you show no sign of having anything to do with your clickbait, and people are gonna click out and your video is actually not gonna be pushed by the algorithm, because this is a metric that YouTube really values, especially in 2025. Test out different types of thumbnails. So for example, for a month, whatever videos that you upload, you can do with one certain type of thumbnail, and for the next month, whatever videos you upload, you can do with a different design of thumbnail, and you can see overall which ones do better and worse. Also, life hack. use YouTube Analytics like it's not a tool that exists just for the sake of existing. Like, it's super helpful. And specifically for thumbnails, the most helpful thing to look at is the click-through rate. This is basically the percentage of people that see your thumbnail on their explore page, on their subscription, or wherever it may be. The percentage is weighed out against the people who see it and the people who click on it. So a good click-through rate is something between 5 to 10% depending on your video. And if it's lower than that, maybe it's time you redesign your thumbnails. If I have no experience and I don't know how to graphic design and I need a thumbnail as soon as possible, well then fear not, because you can go over on Picsart. Particularly for this, I'm going to be using Picsart Web because there is a section on our website where we already have templates. So even if you don't know how to edit, even if you don't even know how to put text or how to go about designing something, you can just click on one of these templates. I'm using this one because I think it's already cute. And you basically just drag in whatever image from your video it is. You can replace the image that's already there and obviously change what the text says unless it directly applies to you. You can go ahead and add any stickers or any other decoration that you want to your thumbnail, any additional text, a logo if you have one. And once that's done, you can just save it and automatically have this as your thumbnail. Like, this literally took under a minute for me and it's like the easiest tool ever. So having said all of that, I hope you guys are ready to revamp your thumbnails or start designing thumbnails if this is your first time trying YouTube. And I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. So if you have a YouTube channel, make sure to comment it down below because I want to look at what you guys are making. And after having dropped every single piece of information I know on thumbnails at you for whatever the duration of this video is, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and X if you want to see more content from us. We post on there literally every day, sometimes multiple times a day. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We post once a week. And with all of that being said, I'll see you next week. Bye.